Hello, and welcome back to Edison Format. Today I'm going to show you an updated deck profile of my Frog hero list. A few things have changed, but nothing too major. So to start off with, we obviously got the 3 best tokens. New edition, love this guy, so good. Just beautiful. Shout out to Tableflip for painting these. Yeah. Okay, so we'll start with monsters. We play 3 Subs Toad, only 2 Swap, 2 Treeborn, and 2 Dupe. So that's it for frogs. The reason we only play 2 of these is because you don't need a third. You really don't. I think when I first picked up the deck, I always enjoyed having it in my hand. But as I've grown to continue playing it, I think that other cards are more necessary. A frog doesn't necessarily do anything in your hand, but an econ or even a removal trap will help you far more than a frog will. Then for the heroes, we've got 1 Stratos, 1 Alias, 1 Ocean, 1 Infernal Prodigy, and 1 Malicious Edge. This is the correct lineup. This is the correct lineup. This is the one you can cut first. This is good because it switches you this. This can be pitched to summon the frog. This specials to get this. The amount of times this guy comes up to draw is good. It comes up a lot. And then this piercing over a Raikou, even if you know they have it set just for 25, is huge. Okay, moving on. I play a really small Monarch package, so I only play 3. I play 2 Caius and a Riser. I toy back and forth with the 3rd Riser, with the 3rd Caius, but I don't know. I like to be able to have my spells and traps to control the game as opposed to monsters. Yeah, that's all. I just like spells and traps to control the game more than monsters. Then we've got the 1 of Junk Synchron, because this bad boy makes Black Rose for me all the time. Then we've got our defensive hand traps. We've got 3 Battle Fader and a Gauze. I would never go any less than 3 Battle Fader. I did think about it for a time, and I think maybe even for like a week or so I tested it, but no. 3 Battle Fader is just good. It's just helpful. You can really change the way the game is played. Also, when it's summoned, it's a free tribute for the Monarch that you want. So like keeping it in your hand as long as possible is really useful. There's so much you can do with it. And if it's on the field you summoned it, you can normal junk, you can bring back a level 2, you can sync for a 6. Yeah, it's just good. And then Gauze is Gauze. Can't complain. Okay. Moving on to spells. We have got triple Upstart. So I go back and forth between Upstart all of the time. But I'm on it and it's correct. You see the cards faster. Doesn't matter if they gain the life because you can just poke them with a Swap Frog or something like that. It really doesn't matter. Play the Upstarts. They're good cards. And who doesn't like playing 37 cards? Next we got 3 Miracle Fusion. This is like your bomb of the deck. You hold it for as long as you can and then it resolves. Unless of course they're main decking Imperial Iron Wall. That's not fun. Next we got 2 Econ. I was playing 3 for a long time. And it does come up 3rd. But again, I found, especially in games 2 and 3, I don't feel like I should be siding out too many cards in this deck. And if I was already sided out 3 or 4, I find that siding another econ out is a bit weird. So I just kept it 2 because then it's easier, like side out ratios, or for me anyway. 1 Rota and 1 Equal. We've got to make sure that we see the cards we want to see. Obviously the equal is for Stratos, but most of the time the rotor is also for Stratos. One brain control to get rid of pesky cards or opposing dupe blocks. 1-for-1, just a really fucking good card. And then obviously we've got the MST and the Heavy. Moving on to traps. Traps are really simple. You've got 3 Raigeki Break. You need them. When I last had a deck profile, when I was at the UK Open, or when I last did a profile for this at the UK Open, I was on Wing Blast. Wing Blast is really good. Really, really good. Being able to put them a turn behind, and you know what they're drawing, so you have more hand advantage. However, this just deals with the issue. So what I found a lot when I was in the Open was I had to Wing Blast Oppression, and that was just not good. Just wasn't the one. So being able to just actually get rid of the issue is a lot bigger. And even against value now, you don't need to hit the oppression because of the cards in your side deck. So this can be saved for the proper issues of the monsters and such. And then the 40th card is a Dust Shoot, because this card's broken. All right, so extra deck. It's pretty simple. It's pretty explanatory. So we have 3 Ab-Zero and 1 Gaia. I'm not even sure if I can make it. Oh, yeah, I'm not even sure if we got any Earths in here. Oh, we do. We've got even here. So we can make it, just very rarely. I play 1 Mistwim because very rarely, but it can come up. I think being able to make it in bounce 3 really throws your opponent off and puts them really far behind. 1 Stardust. I kind of want to play more, but then I've only got one tuner, so it really doesn't make sense. Black Rose, this is definitely the thing I make most in the extra deck, even over these. 1 Colossal Fighter and 1 Thought Ruler. These are kind of the go-to 8s for me. I love making this card into silly positions just because my opponent goes, shit. And I've made this guy once or twice, but sometimes it comes up. We've got a Goyo and a Brio and a Urikuzis. I can't pronounce that. Flamville Urikuzis. Yeah, him. Again, this comes up if you're pacing over Raikos or if you're playing against Dandy, Warrior, and they've got tokens. It just puts in real good work. Then we've got, obviously, the boy Junk Warrior. So this is the Joker misprint one. I'm not sure, you may or may not be able to see it. Yeah, you can see a tiny bit there. But it's my favourite misprint, and I've got to kind of play it. I don't often make it, every now and again. We play 1 Catasta, and we play 1 Armory Arm as well. Because equipping Armory Arm to Malicious Edge is just too good. Now, as I said, I've only got 1 tuner in here, so I have to really choose wisely which I'm going to make. So I think potentially my thoughts are on playing either a second Junk or maybe a different tuner, I don't know, like a Gale or something. But yeah, I'm enjoying this at the moment, and I'm not finding that I need anything else. Yeah, right then. On to side deck. So for the side deck, it's a slightly weirder one, but we go with it. We've got 2 Vanities. I normally only side in 1, because if you dupe block, that's 9 cards out of your deck, and your upstart, that's another 3, so that's 11 gone, and then your starting hand of 5. So you're already well deep into your deck. You're going to see them. You're going to see your side cards. So I normally only siding 1. And it's like Akaios comes out for it. So I've got 1 of each Monarch and a Vanities for kind of optional play. We play 2 Armed Sea Hunter. Now, this is already new edition, and the effect on it is absolutely nuts, so it can negate Raikos and such. But it's a bit weird. It's odd. the effect, so, I'm not sure if you can read it. It says, if you control another face-up water monster, negate the effects of a monster that battled with this card after damage calculations. If this card would be destroyed, you can destroy one face-up level 3 or lower water monster you control instead. So if you have a dupe block, or kind of any frog in defense, and you summon this boy, this is just going to put in so much work for you. I don't know. It hasn't been doing anything for me. Like, in theory, it's good. In practice, it didn't really quite get there for me yet. But it's not coming out yet because I'm still going to test it. I play a second Infernal Prodigy for games 2 and 3. So the reason I play a second is because in games 2 and 3, everyone and their nan is going to try and DD Crow your Treeborn Frog, which is absolutely fine because you side in this guy for that reason. Because you can still get the free summons for the Caius, or the free summons for the Melissa Sedge, or even the Vanities from it. And that's what puts your opponent behind, especially if they're holding the Crow for the Frog, then they've already got a dead card in their hands. So this just comes in a lot. We play one Breaker because it outs Fossil Diner and the back row, just because it has to. One Smashing Ground again for Fossil Diner. So Fossil Diner is the most sided card against this, and yeah, Fossil Diner sucks, but it also turns off Super Poly, which also isn't in the side deck, but Fossil Diner is one of the good cards because it stops your Frog, it stops your Treeborn from coming back, and it stops Super Poly, so we need to make sure you side outs for that. Same goes here for Compulse. I mean, this is really for value because they'll waste all their resources summoning their monsters and you just go, yeah, no worries, cool, put it back there. So it means it turns off their Prem and it turns off their Return, which is really big. We play 2D Prison again. So this is just out problematic cards, or even not really. You can kind of hold the D Prison, and then once you decide a threat is on the board and you don't have like a battle fade or anything, you can just go, okay, cool, set one. And they're going to think it's nothing just because you're playing frogs. So when they flip up a D Prison, they go, oh, shit. And they lose their big monster, and you can capitalize on that quite easily. We played 2 Dust Tornado, so this is for the oppression that I was talking about. And like I said, if you're going first, you've gone through your whole frog combo, you've upstarted, there's not many cards in your deck, you're going to draw these. Easy peasy. And then the last 2 cards are Mirror Force and Torrential because they're just good blowout cards. They come in almost every game with alongside, so in games 2 and 3, I almost always side in 1, 2, 3, and 4. Just because my opponent hasn't got a clue what's going on. When you side in those cards and your deck completely changes into like a, as opposed to like a control deck, like a proper like tradey deck as a 1-for-1, as opposed to like just going to slow down the game until I get my combo and go off. It's a quick change and your opponent doesn't expect it. But yeah, that's my Frog Hero profile at the moment. So there's other few cards that I was thinking about. So Instant Fusion is quite a good card, and I played it for about a month actually. Instant Fusion is good. It is really good. However, I found that the third, what's it called? Raigeki Break. The third Raigeki Break just came up more. Because if you're able to get rid of a threat, then you might not need to push so aggressively. Yeah, because so with the Instant Fusion, it takes normally 2 cards, so you'll have your Instant Fusion and then your Miracle Fusion, and that's 2 cards out of your hand, versus the Geki Break is 1 card off your field, 1 card out of your hand, but then that leaves you open to drop like a Gauze, or if you've pitched a Treeborn, you can do loads of things with it. I'm not sure. I just found the Raigeki Break to be better. But yeah, that's it. That's my deck profile or up-to-date deck profile of Hero Frog. I hope you enjoyed. And of course, Snipe Hunter. See you soon.